Welcome back. Today we're embarking on a comprehensive journey into one of the most unforgettable psychological horror movies of all time, Orphan. The film opens with a deeply unsettling and surreal sequence that immediately grabs the audience's attention. Kate Coleman is in labor, being rushed into a hospital. The scene feels chaotic and disjointed, with bright lights and disorienting angles. As the scene unfolds, it's revealed that Kate's pregnancy ends in tragedy. Blood spills unnaturally, and the doctors deliver the devastating news: her baby, Jessica, has died. This horrifying moment turns out to be a nightmare, but it's rooted in Kate's real trauma. She wakes up in her bed, visibly shaken, and the audience learns about the loss that has deeply scarred her and her family. This opening establishes the emotional core of the story. Kate and her husband, John Peter Sarsgaard, are grieving parents. Their relationship has been strained by the loss, as well as by Kate's struggles with alcoholism and John's emotional detachment. Kate is trying to move forward, but the pain of losing Jessica looms over her. Kate and John live with their two surviving children, Max, their youngest, who is hearing impaired, and Daniel, a preteen navigating his own emotions. The Coleman family dynamic is far from perfect. Kate is in therapy and works hard to stay sober, but she's haunted by guilt over Jessica's death and struggles with feelings of inadequacy as a mother. John appears supportive, but he's emotionally distant and somewhat dismissive of Kate's concerns, often brushing off her fears. Max is a bright and loving child who looks up to her parents and older brother. Her deafness adds a layer of vulnerability as she relies on others for communication. Daniel is a typical preteen boy, moody and somewhat resentful of the attention his sisters, Jessica in memory and later Esther, receive. The family's decision to adopt stems from a desire to fill the void left by Jessica's death. Kate, in particular, hopes the adoption will help her heal and bring new joy into their lives. The Colemans visit an orphanage run by Sister Abigail, CCH Pounder. As they tour the facility, John is drawn to the sound of music coming from one of the rooms. Inside, he discovers Esther, Isabel Furman, a 9-year-old girl painting an intricate, surreal picture. Esther immediately captures John and Kate's attention. She's articulate, charming, and has a precocious demeanor that sets her apart from the other children. Her old-fashioned wardrobe and accent add to her uniqueness. During their conversation, Esther reveals she's originally from Russia and lost her family in a tragic house fire. The couple feels an instant connection with Esther and decides to adopt her. Sister Abigail hesitates briefly, hinting that Esther's previous adoption ended under tragic circumstances, but she doesn't provide details. This small warning is ignored, and Esther is welcomed into the Coleman family. At first, everything seems idyllic. Esther quickly bonds with Max, who is thrilled to have a new sister. She also tries to connect with Daniel, though he remains aloof and even hostile at times. John and Kate are initially impressed by Esther's intelligence, politeness, and artistic talent. She seems eager to please, particularly John, to whom she gives several of her paintings. However, subtle oddities in Esther's behavior begin to emerge. She insists on wearing ribbons around her neck and wrists at all times, reacting with anger when Kate suggests removing them. Her wardrobe is highly unusual for a child, consisting of frilly, old-fashioned dresses that seem out of place in a modern setting. Esther displays a level of maturity and cunning far beyond her years, often speaking and behaving more like an adult than a child. Despite these quirks, the family adjusts to life with Esther. Kate is cautious but optimistic, while John fully embraces Esther, often defending her when Kate raises concerns. Esther's unsettling behavior becomes more apparent when she starts school. Her Victorian-style clothing and reserved demeanor make her an easy target for bullying. One of her classmates, Brenda, mocks her in front of others, calling her a freak. At first, Esther doesn't respond, but later, during recess, she confronts Brenda and pushes her off a high slide, causing Brenda to break her ankle. Esther's reaction is chilling. She shows no remorse and even smiles slightly as she watches Brenda in pain. Max witnesses the incident, and Esther manipulates her into keeping quiet. Esther warns Max that telling anyone will result in their family being torn apart, planting seeds of fear and control. As more incidents occur, Kate begins to suspect something is deeply wrong with Esther. Among the red flags, Esther kills a bird that Daniel had injured with a slingshot, calmly stating that it was better to put it out of its misery. She plays the piano flawlessly despite claiming earlier that she didn't know how. She exhibits an intense attachment to John, often seeking his attention and affection in ways that feel inappropriate for a child. Kate starts to research Esther's background, but her efforts are hindered by John's refusal to believe anything is wrong. He accuses Kate of being paranoid and overly critical, creating tension in their marriage. Sister Abigail visits the Colemans to check on Esther's adjustment. She expresses concern about Esther's behavior and reveals that tragedy seems to follow her. She warns Kate to be vigilant, but Esther overhears the conversation and takes action. Esther manipulates Max into helping her stage an accident for Sister Abigail. They create a distraction on the road, causing Sister Abigail to stop her car. Esther then brutally kills her with a hammer, delivering repeated blows. Afterward, Esther hides the weapon and forces Max to help conceal the crime. She manipulates Max into staying silent, further tightening her psychological hold over her. Kate's investigation eventually leads her to a shocking discovery. Esther is not a child at all. She's a 33-year-old woman named Lena Klammer. Lena suffers from hypopituitarism, a rare hormonal disorder that stunts her physical growth, making her appear like a child. She has a long history of posing as a child to infiltrate families. Lena becomes obsessed with the male figures in these families, and when her advances are rejected, she reacts with violence. Her signature ribbons hide scars from a straitjacket she wore while institutionalized in Estonia. Her past includes arson, murder, and deception, leaving a trail of destruction. Lena's true nature is revealed in a climactic sequence of terror. After killing John in a fit of rage, she turns her attention to Kate and the children. The final battle takes place on a frozen lake, where Kate confronts Lena in a desperate fight for survival. Lena, still pretending to be an innocent child, begs Kate for forgiveness, but Kate sees through her manipulation and delivers a fatal blow, sending Lena beneath the icy surface.